That's why the orphan trains were the beginning of the birth certificate and the social security card in this country. Now, the thing is that because of the fact that the Moroccans were not a part of that corporation, we were the ones in charge of the corporation. What ended up happening is when we would be attracted to somebody that they brought over as an indentured servant, because they were bringing adults and children. Okay. So what would happen is we would go and take the women from them and marry the women and marry the men that were of good conduct, and we would teach them civilization, teach them how to read, because they weren't being taught these things in Great Britain. Great Britain is where all of the slavery was deriving from. So, due to the fact that a European woman, let me show you what I'm talking about so that we can get this crystal fucking clear. Okay? We're going to make it crystal clear of who it was that they had working in the slave fields. Okay? It was the children that were stolen. You see them in the fucking slave fields. This is who Great Britain was sending to America. You understand? So the very reason that the Moroccans were not allowed to have bank accounts, because that's something that everybody was arguing about, right? Everybody was pissed off because you hear these stories about the time of Jim Crow. The reason that Jim Crow was created was to stop the fact that the Americans, the people that were born of this land, were getting married to the indentured servants. If you married the indentured servant, that gave them nationality through you, which freed them from being part of the corporation. And there was so much mingling going on that the corporation wasn't able to generate their revenue, which is why they started flooding the children in here. Because nobody was marrying children, but the adults were getting taken. Why? Because the women were sick of being treated like cum dumpsters. Okay, that's the bottom line of it. You see, but it wasn't the American women. They were not affected by this. It was the indentured servants that were coming from Great Britain, the black people, the ones that were void of color. Let me show you. Because we had women in Congress at the same time that they were bringing women over and exchanging them on the open markets. You understand? This is what Great Britain was sending over here. They were stealing women and stealing children and flooding them in here. I know they don't want to hear the truth, but this is the bottom line. So the very reason that if you go back 2 generations, anybody that's a Moroccan, anybody that's naturally born and has inheritance to this land, if you go back about 2 generations into your family tree, you're going to find British. You're going to find your family got married to British people. You're going to find your family got married to German people. You're going to find that your family got married to Irish people. You're going to find a whole lot of love, right? And that became a problem for the corporation because that was fucking up their slave trade.